and it's left me without the love of my life, the woman I was planning to grow old with.
Lyra McKee's partner Sarah Canning speaking at a vigil for the 29-year-old, just metres from where she was shot and killed on Fana Drive last night.
We are all poor for the loss of Lyra. Our hopes and dreams and all of her amazing potential was snuffed out by a single barbaric act. This cannot stand. Lyra's death must not be in vain, because her life was a shining light in everyone else's life, and her legacy will live on in the light that she's left behind.
Members from all sides of the community in Derry gathered to pay tribute to the journalist today. Those who knew Lyra best coming to terms with her death.
Just shouldn't have happened. Just shouldn't have happened at all. Lyra was like the nicest, genuine, most sincere person you'll ever meet. And people say that about people when they die, but Lyra really, really was. I mean, if you speak to anybody who knows her, I don't think there'll be a bad word that anybody will say about Lyra. She was just one in a million. And we have lost an absolutely amazing friend.
Journalist Leona O'Neill, who was at the scene last night, said she was standing beside Lyra when she was hit.
There was barricades, flaming barricades put across the road there, and at about 11 p.m. A gunman came around that corner there and fired shots up towards the police vehicles. But there was also a crowd. It was indiscriminate. They just fired indiscriminately. I was standing near to Lyra. I heard the pop of the gunfire, and I took cover behind a wall up there. And from my direct sight, I could see a Land Rover just right in front of me, and I could see the young woman lying on the ground.
Despite the sunshine, there's darkness in the people of Derry's hearts today as they mourn a young life taken away by violence, a light gone out on the rising star of journalism.
And our reporter Sharon Lynch is in Derry for us this evening. So Sharon, what is the latest in this investigation?
Well, police in Derry believe that the new IRA is responsible for this murder. They've now launched a murder investigation and are appealing to anyone with information to come forward. They believe that someone out there knows something about the death of Lyra McKee, and they say urging them to do the right thing. They've also launched new CCTV footage tonight on Twitter. That details in quite detail the footage of that lone gunman who fired those shots on Fana Drive last night, and it also shows the moments when Lyra was watching the rioting from afar before she got shot. Now, the police in Derry are urging people to be calm this Easter, and they say that security will be tight, especially in the Cregan area.
And Sharon, tributes are continuing to be paid there tonight to Lyra.
Yes, a community very much still in shock, nearly 24 hours on from that brutal murder. There was a number of vigils in the city today. The first was in the Cregan area, just metres away from where Lyra was shot. That was attended by all sides of the community, and it included DUP leader Arlene Foster and Sinn Féin President Mary Lou MacDonald. Now, the second vigil, that took place behind me here at Guildhall Place here in Derry City Centre. Now, that was organised by the National Union of Journalists, and it was attended by the LGBTQ community and members of the trade unions. They, of course, too, condemning this vicious murder, saying that Lyra was just simply trying to do her job.
Sharon Lynch in Derry, thank you very much for that. So Sharon, talk us through what's happening there tonight.
It's just coming up to half-time here at the Aviva Stadium for this fundraising match for Liverpool fan Sean Cox, who, as you mentioned, was seriously assaulted and suffered life-changing injuries ahead of a Champions League game in Anfield in April last year. He was assaulted, of course, by a Roma fan. Now, thousands of people have packed into the Aviva Stadium here behind me this evening for this match between the Liverpool legends and the Republic of Ireland legends. Now, it's been an emotional evening so far here in Dublin City Centre. Just before the game kicked off, President Michael D. Higgins greeted the Liverpool and Ireland legends on the pitch along with Sean Cox's wife Martina and his family. Now, Sean Cox himself didn't make it onto the pitch, but he instead was in the stands, and he was greeted before the match by Liverpool legends such as Kenny Dalglish and Ian Rush. So far, yes, it's been an emotional night here at the Aviva.
And Sharon, what is the target of tonight's fundraiser?
Well, the Sean Cox Rehabilitation Trust hopes to raise up to €2 million for Sean's treatment and rehabilitation. And as I mentioned, he suffered life-changing injuries after that vicious assault. Now, it's a milestone here for the 52-year-old this evening, as it's the first time he has been out in public. He, of course, has been undergoing treatment and rehabilitation at the National Rehabilitation Centre in Dunleary. And his wife, Martina, said only a few months ago that she never thought she would see this day. So yes, as I mentioned, supportsean.com is where people who maybe didn't get a chance to attend this match this evening can make a donation to the Sean Cox Fund. The second half is about to get underway in just about 10 minutes' time in what has been an emotional evening for the Cox family.
OK, Sharon Lynch of the Aviva, thank you very much for that.
MMA star Conor McGregor arriving at the criminal courts of justice today in a blacked-out BMW, surrounded by his security team, to face road traffic charges. The 30-year-old was accused of driving a car without a licence or insurance after he was stopped by Gardaí on Grove Road in Rathmines on July 10th. Mr McGregor was also accused of failing to produce the required documentation to Gardaí within 10 days. His solicitor, Graham Kenny, arrived ahead of his client and consulted with Gardaí. It's not the first time Conor McGregor has appeared in court on traffic offences in the last year. He was disqualified last month from driving for 6 months and fined €1,000 after he was caught speeding at Kill in County Kildare in October 2017.
Just stay and watch them doors, Dennis, yeah?
And just over a year ago, he appeared at Blanchardstown District Court, where he was fined €400 for speeding. Mr McGregor wasn't required to speak at today's brief hearing. Conor McGregor's case lasted less than a minute in Court 8 this morning, during which Garda Keith Dolan told the court that he was making an application for the case to be struck out after his solicitor Graham Kenny produced the relevant documents. Judge Geraldine Carty granted the request. Mr McGregor thanked the judge and left the court. Sharon Lynch, Virgin Media News. Well, Gardaí and Emergency Services arrived at this house at around 2:45 this afternoon at Coolfin Meadows in Port Law in County Waterford. Now, this occurred following an assault on that man in his 50s. Now, he was brought to University Hospital Waterford, but he was pronounced dead. Now, a man in his 20s was subsequently arrested here at the scene, and he's being currently detained tonight in Trimore Garda Station for questioning, and he's being held under Section 4 of the Criminal Justice Act, where he can be initially questioned for a period of up to 24 hours. Now, Gardaí have been conducting door-to-door inquiries here in Portlaw, a community very much in shock at this death tonight. Now, sources say that an altercation occurred between the two men, and that the man in his 20s was known to the deceased. Now, Gardaí have launched a murder inquiry, and as you can see behind me, the scene is still sealed off here in Portlaw and County Waterford this evening.
Sharon Lynch is standing by. So, Sharon, what more can you tell us?
Well, 50-year-old Clive Staunton has lived here at the Glen Easton Way housing estate here in Leixlip for nearly 20 years. Now, a market trader by profession, he was gunned down as he got out of his van as he returned home from the Republic of Ireland versus Northern Ireland game at the Aviva Stadium last night at 9:15. He was gunned down as he was getting out of his van and making his way home. Now, the community is in shock here in Leixlip today. Neighbours described Mr Staunton as a nice, quiet man. But the Glen Easton Residents Association, in fact, posted a picture on their Facebook page just in the run-up to that shooting last night, and what they deemed as a suspicious white van circling the area. No doubt Gardaí will be investigating that. They're also investigating if Mr Staunton was targeted by the Kinahan crime gang for his loose association to the Hutch family. Now, he himself wasn't involved in any criminality himself, but Gardaí will be no doubt investigating that. Gardaí are expected to give an update on this investigating of the shooting here in Leixlip later this afternoon.